right, ladies and gentlemen, backstage and on the guest list this week, reoccurring guest, hip-hop legend, owner, runner, Big 3 League, Ice Cube back in the building. Ice Cube, how are you?
Yeah. What's up with you?
Nothing much, man. Happy to have you back. A lot happened since you've been here. We're going to get into that later, but this is the 8th year for the Big 3. League's expanding, teams expanding. How's everything going for you right now?
It's going great. Adding new players to the league like Dwight Howard, Kemba Walker, Montrezl Harrell, Wesley Johnson. Hopefully we got another name we can add if he signed his contract today. So that'd be great.
Can we drop who it is or we're waiting on that?
Let's wait.
Let's wait.
It's always, tricky to announce somebody before they actually sign. You never know how they feel about that. So,
names like Kemba Walker, Montrezl Harrell, those are legends. Like, you know what I mean? This is a big deal. The league's getting names. Dwight Howard, going to be an NBA Hall of Famer. Like, these are big names.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think, our league has a lot of great star power, not only with the players, but the Hall of Fame coaches that we have. Some of the biggest names in basketball is part of the Big 3. So it's always cool to add to that, with the star power on the court.
Star power on the court wise, obviously we're adding a lot of NBA guys, but the hip hop world runs right with this. Have you ever had any rappers or anybody from the industry hit you up and be like, yo, we should start our own Big 3 team? Have you ever had a rapper, anybody in the industry ever hit you up?
A few of them want to, see what they can do in the Big 3. I don't think they can actually play in the Big 3. I don't know who could play in this league. At the end of the day, you got, serious craftsmen, serious guys who've been honing their craft since they was young. They know every trick in the book. They use it on each other. And somebody, to me, who hasn't put in that many hours on the basketball court, in the professional setting, I just don't know if they can deal with it. It's not pickup, so they should come sit courtside with me more often and they'll see it my way more times than not.
All artists want to be athletes and all athletes want to be artists. That's the way it goes. I always wanted to see if anybody had the balls to call you and be like, yo, I think I could hang. I don't think it can happen.
Most of them want to be until they get on the sideline of a professional game.
Yep.
Then they realize I haven't put in the time to deal with this.
Yeah, and then you watch guys try and do the NBA All-Star Weekend and nobody looks like they even know what they're doing.
Well, that's what I was going to say. What about these guys like, the Migos guys who show up to the celebrity game and
Quavo can ball.
Against other celebrities or other common regular players, then yeah, they probably can look great and shine. At the professional level, stop it.
Yeah, and you got guys like, guys like Kemba Walker could still play in the NBA if they wanted to. You know what I mean? Like, these are top line guys. Dwight Howard.
Yeah, it's a matter of space, and it's a matter of wear and tear. And the schedule, the NBA schedule is what keeps a lot of players who can still hoop, out of the NBA. It's just, it's a lot of basketball they have to really play, a lot of wear and tear on the body. And so, with our format it's amazing. It's like, they can actually sprint, they can go full and they got a week to recover. Which, they don't take it. Most of them play during the week anyway, but, with our league, they do have a week to recover if they want it.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I wanted to ask, watching these games last season, they're not short. They're like, 50 minutes long?
Yeah, about an hour. Yeah.
So, these guys are going wire to wire. How do you get them? No offense to anybody, but these guys couldn't play 50 minutes when they were in their 20s. How are they staying conditioned and in shape and, playing that long?
Well, I think they with the substitutions, how they use the rules, I think they're able to, maximize it. Only a few players like Joe Johnson really go the whole 50 minutes. So, they got two subs on the bench, and they can get a blow, and they can come back in when they're ready. The thing is, they understand first to 50 is a full out sprint. It's so, without the clock, and we got a shot clock which is 14 seconds, which puts the gas on even more. But with no game clock, there's nothing to wait for. You either first to 50 or not, and they know the game is over when we get to 50. So what's cool is that they go all out.
Have you had any guys that have signed up or signed their contracts for the big three and the level of ball wasn't what they were expecting? Like they were like, oh, wow, yeah, I'll sign up for this, like get a paycheck, whatever. But then they actually come in and it's like full contact, first to 50, guys really playing hard. Is there anybody who's been shocked?
Yeah, it's been a few. I don't want to put them on blast. You can go back and look at, how they played. At the end of the day, sometimes after the third game, they realize, hey, man, this is not full court where you can kind of be a specialist.
Right.
You can be a 3-point guy, or you can be a rebound guy or a defense guy. In 3-on-3, you have to have all around skills. You have to be able to pass, dribble, shoot, and defend at a high level, or you're going to get cooked. And so by the third game, they realize I can't get open like I could in the NBA. I got somebody locked on me. I got to be able to create my shot or do it through the offense, and that's not their game. And they realize real quick, this is a totally different level of basketball. It's a totally different game than what they're used to. I equate it to boxing and UFC. Some guys that can box can handle the UFC ring, and some guys that do UFC can't handle the boxing ring, so it's a different sport.
That's great, like metaphor for it. What year is this for you guys?
8.
Seeing where this started and where it's at now is seriously incredible. And I don't need to tell you how proud you should be of you and your team. But the thing that I'm curious about is when you started this, did you see this getting to the level it's at right now? Or is this even close to the level you're, picturing this getting to eventually?
Definitely saw it getting to this level and even bigger. That's the reason why we started it, because we saw that, this is a different level of basketball, and it can create its own superstars. It can create its own following. If we're around long enough, you'll have kids who want to play in the big three and not in the NBA because, eventually, salaries and pay and all those things are going to continue to go hopefully in the right direction. But it'll be a great option for ballers to either choose the big three or the NBA. That's the dream. I wouldn't even say plateau, because we want to be as big as we're supposed to be. But I knew people wanted to see professional sports. Even the 3-on-3 game could be professionalized and last hopefully 100 years.
So is the NBA threatened by you, or are you cool with them?
I'm cool with them. I don't know if they're threatened by us or not. I've always said that we were interested in working together.
Right.
We wouldn't bump heads in any way or, have any kind of conflict. But for the most part, I think we're a compliment to the NBA and not something to worry about.
why is it that the big three and the NBA, like the big three is like thriving and growing? Why is it that basketball can have this happen, professional basketball? Why is it different than the NFL, where like the USFL and the XFL continue to struggle and reform and keep dropping off every year? But this is working. Is it just a demand for basketball, or is it just that the NFL is so its own thing that every other league that tries just can't compete?
I don't know. That's something I think you would have to ask, Adam Silver or
Yeah.
Mark
I have
Tatum.
a theory. I have a theory. I think that the drop off from the NFL to those leagues, talent wise, is so drastic. People just don't want to watch it. I think, like Cube said, you're watching these guys that could still. I mean, Kemba Walker could still run an offense on an NBA team.
Yep.
Dwight Howard, can still bang in the post with anybody playing today. I mean, these guys are still the most talented players in the world. They're just playing half court now. That's what I think.
There's still no reason why we can't work together. They're doing 5-on-5 full court in the fall and winter, and I'm doing half court 3-on-3 in the summer. I think there's an appetite for basketball at this time of year from the fans, or our ratings wouldn't be as good as they are. So
you guys do a great job too of making it an event. Like, it's not just, I mean, basketball is the centerpiece, but you've got the entertainment surrounding it. You've got the hosts. I mean, it's like, it's fun. It's not, you're not like gouging your fans to show up and it's
fun, but it's not fun like the Savannah Bananas, like the baseball league kind of is fun, to where it's like still very serious, high level basketball, but it's an event.
I mean, what's great about our league is you come to a game, you get to see every player, the whole league. It's 4 games for the price of 1. We don't break the bank. So you can bring the kids, you can bring the neighbor kids, you can bring the family, whoever, so it's an affordable event. It's 3.5, 4 hours of basketball with, entertainment in between, from rappers to singers to, break dancers, BMX bikes, it's everything.
Circus.
It's everything you can have fun with. Our motto is we take the game very serious, but everything else have fun with. If you run up to Dr. J and ask for an autograph, nobody's gonna tackle you and tell you to get out the arena. It's
don't test that.
I mean, it won't. It better not happen at a big real. But at the end of the day, we want people to be welcome and have fun and feel like it's in a unique event that they want to come to over and over again.
I just want to point something out though. So I'm thinking of that like classic 2003 NBA draft class, and a lot of those guys. Have you started courting? Have you started courting any of the guys that are kind of on their way out? The LeBrons, the KDs, the Stephs, the Carmelos. Is there like like an NIL kind of a period? Are we trying to get these guys on?
Well, we want everybody. We go after everybody. We just want to see their level of interest of continuing to play pro basketball. Right. Sometimes guys are done for real, and we don't want you if you're done.
Right.
Because it's not that. You'll find out very quickly that the demand on your attention to detail to make sure you don't get cooked in front of the whole world on the basketball court, has to still be up at that level. This is not pick up, just kind of come have fun with it basketball.
Hey, I'm just saying there's a guy in LA who's got a couple sons that one of them's in the league already, one of them's coming in. And there's another guy who played in New York who has a very highly ranked son. Mm-hmm. Maybe seeing like a LeBron versus Carmelo big 3. Look, don't put me on the payroll, but I'm saying
they blessed us to play in the league. We would we would treat them like both like kings, to be honest. So that's something. Hopefully guys see what the big three means. Maybe not to them, but to guys who need the big three,
right,
to continue their basketball career without having to go overseas. And some of them still do, and some of them still love going overseas, but they love playing at home too, in the arenas that they played in back in the day. And so it's hopefully one of those big time stars bless us. We got Dwight Howard to bless us with playing, Kemba, and we've had others in the past, so hopefully we keep the tradition going.
I got one more thing I think you guys should be working on too. The NBA on TNT, that contract's coming up. You don't want to talk to Ernie and talk to Kenny the Jet and see if we can make this move over? I'm just saying, like, it's an option.
Right now we happy to be right here on CBS.
Hey, their contract's up. That's what I'm saying.
It's a great thing. And we're happy where we are right now. And we've signed our non-CBS games on Vice. So we're doing pretty good for ourselves.
No, I'm saying those guys are going to be out of a job after this year. Saying they're not doing NBA on TV anymore.
I know, but he's not trying to have other people.
I know.
He's being a good commissioner. Let him.
Yes, he is. I know.
Let him be political. I have a hypothetical for you that I want to ask before we got to let you go. Say 10 years from now, this league has exploded even more than it already has. You're at 30 teams. This is, again, not just a hypothetical. You're at the point where you have a yearly draft where these teams are drafting guys out of retirement of the NBA, out of the college level, overseas. Do you ever see yourself as commissioner rigging this draft or fixing things?
Never. We have a draft May 15th, which is in a few days. And there's no funny business going on in our draft. I think that undermines the fans and what people are really, ultimately paying to see. It undermines the game, at one of its highest forms. So we'll never do that. And if I ever find out somebody's doing something like that, they're not going to be out of here, but they probably going to be prosecuted.
Listen, man.
Hey, Cube. One last thing. What happened to my boy Tatum, man? What happened to my Celts? I had to wear this with you coming on the show.
Man, see, that's
oh my God.
What happened. That's what happened. You came out with that shirt on, but hey, it's tough. What's his actual injury?
They haven't said, but it's got to be his Achilles. I feel so bad for the guy.
And that's the saddest news. I'm a Laker fan, of course.
I know.
I love Jaylen Brown, and so I got a chance to see them work out here in LA, and Willie was rooting for those two, and so to see JT go down, it hurts, man. It's not good for basketball. He's a superstar. Basketball needs him on the court, and so it's sad because I'm a fan of him. I wish he was. He had a chance to be a Laker, but it went the wrong way with that. But
man, you got Luka. You're all right.
I really thought when that happened that we were going to get another Celtics-Lakers finals.
Yeah, me too. That would have been amazing.
You got time. Q, before you do get out of here, I do want to say this because last time you came on, I remember asking you, being like, what are you contemporarily listening to in like the hip hop world? And you're like, I really don't get involved in that too much. But since the last time we spoke, a lot has happened, and the West Coast has kind of been involved in everything. Did you kind of keep your nose out of like the entire Drake Kendrick situation, or obviously I'm sure you picked a side in a certain capacity, but what was your view on the entire situation?
I mean, there's really nowhere for my nose to go in that situation. It's like watching a heavyweight fight. You don't want to get in there. You just want to watch from the sidelines.
Yeah, but you've never been one to sit a beef out, is what I'm saying. You've never been one to watch from the sidelines.
It, I'm just watching like everybody else. Like all the fans. I have no say either way. At the end of the day, I don't even really know why they beefing.
Nobody does.
So at the end of the day, what can you say when two friends fight? You got to just kind of back up and, hope they don't kill each other.
Well, the one thing were you like a little insulted that Drake didn't AI your voice in that stupid diss song? The way he did with Pac and
I don't be AI in my voice. I would have a problem with that. Don't do that to me. I would, not even when I'm gone. Don't do that.
You got to get like the Anderson .Paak tattoo. He has like, yo, after I die, do not release my posthumous albums on his forearm. You got to get one that just says, do not AI my voice no matter what happens.
AI me, man. Give me while I'm here.
Yeah, I mean, dude, and speaking of While You're Here, the album you put out last year was phenomenal. That last track with Busta Rhymes and Killa Mike, I thought was an incredible.
Unbelievable.
I love the fact that Killa Mike actually comes out being a dude from Atlanta, and he said like my hero is, and he started describing you. Was that kind of a surprise to you to hear a guy from Atlanta give you that much love, or was it kind of like this makes a lot of sense to me?
No, because my hero's on the East Coast. You know what I mean? Like I grew up, with Run DMC and KRS and Rakim and man, EPMD.
Yeah.
Like, it's just wherever, you kind of lock in and once you start loving the music, you lock into whoever's, really touching you. And so, my lyrics is pretty strong. So, hopefully I got some MCs out there that I've touched, because there's definitely some MCs out there that's touched me.
I mean, dude, you just got to look at it though. Like the West Coast had its like biggest year in a while last year between Kendrick winning all the Grammys, obviously winning the beef. You had Tyler, the Creator, selling out stadiums. You had the Pop Out in LA. Mustard had a huge year. Like, did you ever think like, maybe I should throw my hat in the ring here and just try and see what's going on? Like maybe like getting in on like that Pop Out show or anything like that?
Nah, I mean, you can't always be the center of attention when it comes to somebody's movement. You got to let them do their thing. I had my record come out last year, Man Down.
Yep.
So, I'm doing my thing. He's doing his. Snoop and Drake came out last year.
Yep.
So it was a big year. Now, you got Exhibit out right now, with a dope album called Kingmaker. So, I'm just glad people continue to do hip hop. If they love it, keep doing it. It don't matter if this side is hot, that side is hot, not, whatever. Your fans still want to hear the music. So give it to them.
Yeah. I mean, it to me, like as much the Drake and Kendrick stuff got out of hand and everything like that, it was good for the sport of rap. Like, it was good to see the two heavyweights really going after each other. It was nice.
Man, it goes back, since Kumo D and LL and, me and NWA. You got, you got 50 and Ja Rule.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's always going to be a heavyweight fight pop out every now and then. And as long as it stay on wax, which that's the most important, because once it's not a record and it goes into the street, it's just regular street violence. It has nothing to do with music after that.
Yeah, this one stayed on wax and actually won 5 Grammys. You know what I mean? Like, that's insane.
You don't want it to get out of bounds, it's a sparring match, so to speak, on who's the most clever.
I'm sorry, but now that times have changed and rap is kind of at the epicenter of everything, they need to give like a I don't know, like an honorable doctorate Grammy for No Vaseline. I'm sorry. It needs to happen. If we're winning Grammys for diss tracks, No Vaseline needs to get one.
See, that's a family feud. So that's a little more vicious.
Yeah,
You know?
I was gonna say a lot of people were talking about
it's
a lot of people during the beef were like, "Man, Kendrick's really taking it a step too far." And I was like, "Have you ever heard No Vaseline?" I was like, "This shit's been done before." But no, so June 14th, the league kicks back off. Is it it's in Chicago?
In Chicago, baby.
Come go out and see the Chicago Triplets, but you guys got a team now. You got the Boston Ball Hogs. So you can go.
I'm in Chicago though.
You're in Chicago now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you coming out for the game, right?
I'll be out. It'll be cool, Come hang out, man. You have a ball. It's gonna be a fun year, man. Summer in the city.
We got who? Jason Richardson?
Got Jason Richardson on your squad. You got Montrez. And man, who else is on that triplet squad?
That's two former end of their career Sixers right there. That's breaking my heart. Yo, do me a favor and just absorb the 76ers out of the league and just put them in the big three. And I'll start from scratch with the Sixers when it comes to the NBA, man. I can't do it anymore. Sixers are brutal.
Want a ball, you more than welcome.
Let's do it.
They're more than welcome to be a part of the big three.
You can have Joel, you can have Tyrese Maxey, you can have the whole squad. You got Paul George. That's a big three right there.
Oh, it's Kemba, dude. We got Kemba.
Oh, you guys have Kemba.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Montrezl Harrell, Jason Richardson, and Kemba.
That's a squad.
That's a great team.
That's a great squad. And you get to pick two more. And since we pared down from 12 teams to 8, this draft is going to be crazy. Like it's some great players that's going to now be in the draft. So they're going to pick two more players. We have our combine and our draft on the same day, which is on Thursday. And it's dope, Check us out. We're streaming it at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Everybody go check out the big three, kicking back off. Dante, I'm sure you'll see them when they're in Chicago. Go check them out around the country this year. Q, we can't thank you enough, man. Seats always open. Appreciate you, man.
You're the best, man.
Anytime, every time. Take it easy.
Thank you, Q.